The Jacob Media Sports Network, in partnership with 97.3 ESPN, brings you the Mays and Eytan Show.
Middays with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander.
Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
All right, well, is this thing on?
Yes, it is on.
All right.
It's actually loud and clear.
I need to do a couple of things.
From a really nice apartment. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
This beats your old dump by about 100 to 1.
Well, yeah. Well,
this is actually sweet.
Well, to be fair, there's a woman living here.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, it's clean.
Mine would look like this if I lived here.
Not so much.
Oh, yeah, so much. I'm cleaner than any woman you've ever been around.
Wait a second. Are you saying that if you and our host, who we're going to get to in a second because I screwed him over, and
you screwed everybody over. You screwed the listeners over.
I did.
You screwed the other hosts over. You even screwed Josh over, who got screwed over this morning by Mike Gill.
Well, let's start there.
Yes.
How did Josh get screwed over by Mike Gill?
I don't know. I guess Gill left him work to do that he didn't know he had to do. So it's a lot of busy work to get promos put on for something with the Eagles, and he just dropped it in Josh's lap this morning, and Josh is upset.
That sounds like Jamal Adams' feelings report type material, where you're complaining about the job.
Let's not misuse the word upset. I don't get upset about this.
Sounds like we just added you to the bulletin board, cuz.
Yes. His feelings were a little hurt.
I'm not being managed over here by Doug Peterson and Howie Roseman about my feelings after practice.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
See, I'm working through things. I don't sit here and cry about it.
Okay, I doubt that you would just sit there with your head in your hands and nothing would get done if you were upset about a job that was given you. So I'll give you credit on that for sure. It's getting done there. All right, so with Josh being upset already, now we have to add in our illustrious host here.
Yes.
Matt Mullin of Philly Voice.
Opened up his home for us.
Who's been on with us before, who has taken time out of his day to walk, 15 to 20 yards from his apartment to my old apartment.
Right.
We can't get in there. I woke up this morning at like 3, 4 a.m. from a slumber, deep slumber. They already cut my internet off. So there's no internet. There's nothing we can do. I told you, that place is long gone. So Matt opened up, and we thought, all right, well, we'd have Matt on with us for the show. Like Jimmy's going to be on with us.
It's like Philly Voice Day on the
right. And there was going to be an announcement that's going to happen as well, and that's another reason why we wanted Matt to be on the air to share that announcement.
Well, there was a big announcement about an hour or two ago with the Phillies.
Well, yes. That has to do with baseball. I'm talking about a Philly Voice-related announcement. But the problem is that since I've been involved in like 3 or 4 life-changing activities in the last week,
3 days,
and to be fair, I have not missed a day, right? I've not missed a second of the show.
No.
Other people, and I'm not naming anybody in general, I'm just saying, like, radio's the easiest job to be like, hey, I've got fill in the blank going on, we're going to have to miss a show.
Yes.
You and I have, not recently, I'm just saying in general, countless times where it's like, hey, my second cousin's got a bar mitzvah coming up, and I should really be there in Maine.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss 3 days. It's like, what?
Yeah, other people do that.
Yeah.
Not us.
No.
Yeah.
You came the day of surgery.
Exactly.
You came to my apartment.
I was under the influence of anesthesia.
Absolutely. And we couldn't even tell the first 30 minutes of the show.
No, because I'm always like that.
So I mistakenly packed up. Basically, what I wanted to do is get all this crap out of my apartment before the movers came to make the movers' job as easy as possible, because my fiance lives 5 doors down, and now her apartment and my apartment are merging to one house. So it's 2 separate apartments moving into one house.
Correct.
So I mistakenly packed up everything except my headset, thinking, oh, well, I only need my headset to do our show and the SB Nation show. And now, mistakenly, of course, that's in my garage. So here's what we need. We need a mic with an XLR connection, which Matt could go run and I'll buy since it's my mistake.
Well, you don't need to buy any. You've bought so much damn equipment over the last 3 months. It's unbelievable. You could open up your own, like
electronics store. You
literally could. It's unbelievable.
Radio Shack needs a fill-in because they're out of business now. Maybe you could fill the void.
Listen, but I'm mobile, so I'll deliver.
Yeah, but I could go back to my crib and get another one of these headsets that I have.
You really want to do this?
And I could bring it over here from Matt.
You really want to do this? Okay, you're not. The only issue that I have with you doing this is that you're going to hold this against me.
No. No, I'm going to utilize
Just be
it
on record
as
and
being
say-
able to cut out of the show for 20 minutes.
All right, great. Go ahead.
You know
run.
what I'm saying?
If you're listen, you're smiling.
Yeah.
Right? I thought you'd be upset and frustrated with me.
No,
there anything?
Well, I am upset and frustrated with you, but that's normal. But I've got next level Sixers schedule breakdown that we got to go over when I come back.
Okay, so why don't you run and
All
grab
right?
the headset?
You guys can talk about Charlie Manuel.
Yes.
Maybe you could get Rich Doobie on the line and talk.
Is he
talk
available?
hitting. I don't know where Rich Doobie is.
Is he seriously like who's next?
What are the Phillies doing?
Who's next?
Seriously.
Is there anything beyond just a terrible optics move of we're bringing? I mean, this is like the Sixers winning 10 games, bringing Allen Iverson in for a shooting coach.
No, but you're right. But it's like going so far new school with analytics, launch angles, and all this different types of hitting approach. It stinks out loud. So now we got to go back to the 1950s with Charlie Manuel. I mean,
ridiculous.
What next? They're going to name Larry Boa the manager?
Yeah, Boa the manager, seriously. Manuel the hitting. It's going to be the Cleveland Indians 96 all over again.
Bring back, where's Albert Bell? I'm sure he needs a job.
He's available.
Yeah, you make Charlie the manager and Albert Bell the hitting coach. Let's go.
Now, do you mean the hitting coach or like the punching coach?
Well, he'd be both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be the ambassador like Hugh was.
All right, I'm going to take off the headset and give it to Matt Mullin, who's anxiously awaiting to drop knowledge over here. I love the cat that we have here. We've gone from a big galoot dog with an e-collar around himself to this beautiful cat.
Charlie.
Who is just chilling, man.
Charlie is probably the chillest
show.
cat you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's a stark contrast between the two animals.
Yes. Charlie loves this show.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go, Matt.
All right, so we're here live at Matt's spot now, and Harry's going to run out, and I've never seen a man happier to leave. Now, normally, this is how Harry normally is at 2 o'clock, right? So at 2 o'clock, as soon as we're done with the show, Gil comes on. I always thought that Harry was just so excited to hit his car and stream the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, but it turns out he just can't wait to get the hell. You saw his face. Mm-hmm. He couldn't wait to get the hell out of here.
Ear-to-ear smile.
Unbelievable, man. All right, so Harry's going to correct my mistake, but you can't be really shocked that I blew this, right? You were tweeting about it. I was tweeting about it. We're all excited about it.
When I teased it, I said, this should be interesting, and
here
sure
we are.
enough, here we are.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. All right, so where do you want to begin? Because we've got some sports stuff. I know, Harry, as little as it's been to kind of just go day to day and break down game after game with the Philly season, it's been rough. Kempsey's going to join us at 1 o'clock, so Harry will be back well before then. But, you brought this up as we were moving, and you were helping me, thank you, ahead of time about the Charlie Manuel news that comes down. And, you have to start thinking at some point, the Philadelphia Phillies, like, what's going on in their mind? You have to start thinking in your own head. What's going on in their mind that stuff like this is just going to be received in a positive light? Not to say that people won't love the fact that Charlie Manuel is here, but from Harry's point about the stark contrast of where they are to just the fact of this ship is sinking, and they rope in this captain that had a really successful voyage here, 12, 13 years ago.
Right.
Now it's like, 11, 12 years ago. Now it's just like, oh, man.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a stark contrast to what we had, been hearing about the Phillies in terms of how much they loved John Mallee's his approach to hitting and stuff, and they were locked in, and this was the only thing they were going to teach organizationally from top to bottom. They were teaching it to their minor leaguers. They were teaching it to all their prospects, and now, it just like that, they completely flip the script and go with Charlie Manuel, a guy who has a wildly different approach to hitting a baseball. We'll see what the results are.
Yeah, I wonder how much impact's really going to be made. We don't have much time.
No.
And Charlie Manuel coming in and saying something completely drastically different than what they've been told or taught for the last, year and 4 months or so, counting last season as well. I don't know. I wonder if it's even fair or realistic to put it on Charlie Manuel to expect any type of change, as well as the team. I mean, what's the end play here? I don't even know.
Right,
what's the end play?
And I've always wondered how much of an impact do hitting coaches have on major league players.
Right.
I mean, these guys have been doing it since they were kids. Obviously, they've learned different techniques and gotten better along the way. But there were some tweaks made to Bryce Harper's approach at the plate a little bit, but how much are they really tweaking? And at what point, if a guy gets cold, do you tweak his stance, or is it that's baseball? Guys go cold for a little while, wait for them to come back around. But something needed to come. I mean, Salisbury hinted yesterday in his story, or maybe it was late Sunday night, that
change was in the air.
Changes were coming.
Yeah, but how many times? This reminds me of the old Milt Thompson firing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Where, they couldn't fire a player, and for whatever reason, they wouldn't fire the manager. Not to say that they couldn't fire Gabe Kapler, or that I'm banging the drum for them to fire Gabe Kapler, but for whatever reason, this is a move. Here's the thing. If you know you're going to fire Gabe Kapler at the end of the season, do you really do this? No, probably not.
No, I don't think so.
This is some bizarre, I don't know, it's not even, I'm trying to think of the analogy. It's some bizarre SOS. Like, it's not as drastic as throwing an anvil to Gabe Kapler. Like, I don't think you're going to sink Gabe Kapler if he's out in the middle of the ocean looking to be rescued, but it sure as hell isn't throwing him a life raft or anything, because, and it goes back to the impact of how much can Charlie Manuel really do right now.
Right.
If, in fact, he's there for a month.
Whenever position coaches in any sport are let go, that is never a good sign for the manager. Because
we saw Andy Reid make a killing off this, right?
Right. Well, look, when I always bring up my alma mater, but when I got down to the University of Miami, they had Hall of Fame level coaching at all the positions, guys who had won 3-4 championships, national championships, and I believe it was the year before they fired Larry Coker.
Okay.
They cleaned house and started getting rid of all these position coaches that had been there forever. The next year, they fire Larry Coker.
Right.
Because they
and
already
how long
tried.
had Coker been there?
5 or 6 years, I want to say.
Long enough.
Yeah.
Right. Long enough to resist. No, that's my defensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. That's my special teams coach. That's my strength guy. Long enough to resist all of that.
Yep.
And that's the difference here is Gabe Kapler is not fully entrenched in anything. And Gabe Kapler is working on his second full season here, and I don't know if the Phillies are just concerned, if McPhail, Klentak, if these guys are just concerned about what it looks like to give up that early. But, to be fair, as much as it's really difficult to quantify how much an impact a manager is going to make on the day-to-day, I mean, let's be honest. We've seen teams fire managers and then bring in the opposite personality.
Yes.
And that work.
Yes.
We've seen that happen where you've had a tyrant and then all of a sudden you bring a players-friendly guy or vice versa, and you bring in somebody who's a lot more of a disciplinarian after beer and chicken in the clubhouse in Boston.
And that works. That does work from time to time. My other question with this is, was their hitting the biggest problem? And in a sense, it was because of what they have in their lineup, based on what they have in their rotation and bullpen. I mean, I would say their hitters were underperforming more than most of their pitchers were, just because a lot of their pitchers aren't top of the. They didn't go out and do anything to address the starting rotation this offseason. They had guys in there who they could clearly go out and improve, and they didn't. But when you look at their lineup, coming into the year, everyone was expecting, this is going to be a killer lineup. Yep. They are going to put up tons of runs, tons of hits, all this stuff. And then they didn't. And I have this tweet from Corey Seidman at NBC Sports Philly yesterday. Phillies ranked since the All-Star break. 26th in runs scored, 27th in batting average, 26th in slugging percentage, 25th in OPS, 26th in extra base hits. That's why the change comes there, I think.
Since the All-Star break?
Yeah.
This is year 2 in which we've seen a team grow and do something at the start of the season and then fall flat. Now, again, last year I think was sharper, but still we have another one of these declines. And while last year was a sharper drop, you didn't fall as far.
Yeah.
This team was leading the division. Now, granted, but this wasn't like 12 games into the season they were winning the division. They were winning the division. When's the last time? Do you know, and Josh and Hunter, if you guys could help us out, what's the latest date in which the Phillies led the division, even if it went back and forth? Like, I'm not saying they had their lead and then lost it and then grabbed it again. I'm saying the last date in the calendar year. I don't know if you know it offhand.
No.
But again, it could have gone back and forth with Atlanta, with Washington. I'm just saying the latest calendar date in which they held the division, because they held it long enough to look at this drop as a major cause for concern that they fall this. I mean, that's like falling 4 or 5 floors through the ceiling here.
Well, and it's not just how many games they've fallen behind, because that's kind of leveled off. It's the fact that, they're in 4th place in their division right now. And they had, one of the biggest off seasons of any team in baseball history. I'm pretty sure they spent more money than any team ever in one off season, and they're in 4th place in their division. I mean, that alone is unacceptable. Sure, there's been injuries, there have been other things, but still, you can't do that.
No. I don't know even at this point who we're blaming it on, the finger pointing, everything that comes from it, man, because you see a move like this with Charlie Manuel, and I don't know, is anybody, and again, we'll open up the text board here for you, 609-403-0973. Matt Mullin, Philly voice, hanging out. Harry Mays is down the street grabbing a headset, so he'll be back in a matter of minutes. Not his headset, of course. Harry came very prepared. He would be cringing right now at the thought of it getting out there that Harry was the ill-prepared one. It was me. So Harry, the good Samaritan that he is, because Matt is so gracious enough to allow us to do the show here, ran back to his spot, which isn't far, to grab the third headset. So we'll have the three of us in action momentarily. Jimmy Kempski at 1 o'clock. And the big thing, if you look at it, is just this Manuel move and not much positive reaction from it. So on the text board, 609-403-0973. And I should warn you, this thing has a mind of its own. Yes, we've eliminated, not removed, but we've minimized the phone call. And we've realized that the text board has allowed us a little more freedom, but also freedom for madness on the other end.
Oh, yeah.
Eytan has so much new equipment that his place looks like Don Cheadle's electronics store at the end of Boogie Nights. Not bad, man. That's actually a pretty good texter.
Yeah, it was like I went over there the other day. You were like, hey, do you want a new vacuum? Do you want this? I felt like I was in Best Buy.
I was trying to get rid of stuff. Yeah, but that was like hot items. Those were just like, hey, take this vacuum. I don't need it anymore.
Right.
I wasn't trying to sell you anything, right?
No, that's true.
Now, did you get anything from the clearance? I forget. I don't think you had anything of value from me that I was giving away, right?
Well, there was like a flashlight, a vacuum.
Oh, yeah, you took did you take the vacuum?
Mm-hmm, I did. I'm still trying to figure out how to get it to work, but, we'll get there.
Wait, what vacuum? I thought I
the
gave...
robot. The
Oh, that's right, the robot. Yeah. Now, I feel bad because I think that robot has malfunctioned. Can you get replacement parts? So you still haven't gotten it to work?
No, but I'll take a look at it. As long as it doesn't, come to life and attack me,
no.
I'm fine if it's malfunctioning.
We're like 10 years away from that. From the iRobot coming into the actual iRobot of Will Smith.
Yeah.
And coming out there. No, but I feel bad. I feel like I gave you a piece of crap robot that now doesn't work, and I stuck
Skynet has become self-aware.
Seriously, man. I feel like I've given you this thing that you had to lug back here to your apartment in the first place. And, now everybody back here is probably like, oh, cool, you got a robot. And now it's just been sitting here for a month.
Well, like I said when we got it, the main reason I wanted to take it was because I wanted to see if I could get it up and running.
So you could scare your cat?
Well, I wanted to see if she would ride around on it.
That would be something else, man. If we could get pictures of Charlie riding around on the robot. Now, you think she would stay on it?
No, she would run and hide under the bed in a second.
The second she saw it?
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised she hasn't done that with you guys here.
No, well, she knows me.
She knows you, yeah, but Harry was here first, and she came and sat with him. I thought she would be right under the bed.
Harry is an animal whisperer. It's crazy. The way in which Harry, you wouldn't think of it, right, with his gruff appearance.
Yeah, he's a little rough
around
the edges.
Yeah. But then, he sits down, he and my dog just sits there and melts and lays on him, wags his tail. He's done it with you, too. Mm-hmm. But, you give off a much friendlier exterior, especially to animals, than Harry. Yet Harry, I'm telling you, we were talking about this on the show. Harry could be the updated version of Cesar Millan, the way in which he was handling my dog one day.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. Have you ever tried to do that?
No.
Yeah, next time a pit bull's running out, or I shouldn't, mischaracterize, but next time any dog that's mad or aggressive at you for whatever reason. It could be a Pomeranian. But next time a dog or a 50 to 80-pound dog is running at you and aggressively running at you, try that.
Yeah.
See if that Cesar Millan stuff works.
It's like when the the animal experts tell you what to do in a bear attack.
Yeah, right.
Stand your ground. Yeah, I'm running.
Or punching a shark in the nose.
Yeah.
Right?
Good luck.
Have you ever
What
met
happens if you
anybody-
miss?
Well, if you miss
there's a mouthful of teeth about 6 inches away from that nose.
If you miss, you probably lose everything. But you would lose your arm immediately.
Yeah.
Have you ever met anybody that's ever, and honestly, have you ever met anybody, Josh, you're down the shore, you live down the shore. Have you guys ever met anybody that's ever punched a shark in the nose? And I don't mean a nurse shark, all right? I could punch a nurse shark. I mean a real shark. Matt, have you ever
No.
seen that?
No.
I have heard people claim that they have, but I don't believe them for 1 second because it comes off as a story that you tell your drunk friends.
Yes, and it must have originated from something, right?
Well,
Like
you know,
some
you
old
meet,
wives' tale.
Like you meet a dude who's like been out surfing, and they show you like Instagram or whatever photos of all the places they've been surfing, and then they go, "Yo, bro, let me tell you about the time I punched a shark," and you're like, "Shut up, dude."
Well, yeah, but that came from somewhere where it's
It
not.
came from the bottle he's about 6 beers in. Okay, that's where it came from.
Well, but you've got animal experts on these shows telling you to punch a shark in the nose. I don't buy it. I don't believe it.
Jimmy's a big
Well, no,
surfer.
there's a
We'll have to ask him.
reason why you
Right.
punch a shark in the nose. The shark has the most nerve ends
Correct.
in their
the
nose.
Yes,
Yeah.
I understand that, but again, I think there's a big leap. We're going to have to ask Kemsky this. This is the second time Kemsky's been on, and we've led with a surfing question. So at this point, he's probably going to stop answering the
I
text.
do have a good nurse shark story for you. I was in Key West for spring break one time. A guy was studying fish. It was a friend of a friend, and there was a nurse shark swimming in the shallows right by our feet, and 2 hands dove into the ocean, came up with the shark in his hands. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It was
How
about
big was the nurse shark?
3 feet.
Now, they don't bite, right? No.
They do. They're more like leeches where they latch onto you, and it can be really tough to get them off. But no, they won't like rip your arm off or
Right.
anything like that. No.
But they don't insert poison into your body or
No.
remove anything. Yeah. So that's just the pain in the ass element of it.
Right. But yeah, he just pulled it right up and showed it, and we were all kind of freaked out. We were on spring break, a little drunk, kind of trying to figure out what the heck was going on, but it was wild.
Now, you can't eat nurse shark, can you?
I don't know.
I think they're
I'm
too
not a big
small,
seafood
right?
guy, so.
You don't eat any seafood,
Oh,
right?
I do, but I'm not. It's not my thing.
You don't eat sushi, though, right?
No, I do not, and it kills my wife.
It kills me, too, because we've got some pretty good sushi spots
Yeah.
around here. What's the extent, like what's the most you'll step out and eat as far as a piece of fish is concerned?
I'm not.
Halibut doesn't count, man.
Like, yeah.
Whitefish
Tuna
isn't-
steak doesn't count.
No.
Whitefish doesn't.
Mahi?
Yeah, I'll eat some of that.
Okay.
I like
Isn't
that
that
kind
dolphin?
of stuff. Yeah.
You shouldn't be eating
I
dolphin.
know.
though, right?
I feel bad about it, but though I'll eat crab, shrimp.
What about
stuff like that.
swordfish? You ever eat that?
I don't think I've ever eaten it, but I would try it. I would. It seems like it would be like a tuna kind
Yeah,
of
it's a
fish.
little rubbery,
Yeah.
too. It's fatty. It's really fatty.
Yeah, but a nice piece of tuna steak with some mango salsa on it.
So what's the difference between the cooked tuna and the raw tuna? It's the same thing?
One's cooked. What's the difference between cooked chicken and raw chicken?
Well, raw chicken will kill you.
All right. I also don't like my beef rare. I like it medium.
You don't eat, so you like your tuna steak well? Like you
No. I would get it. I would get it medium at most, but probably closer to medium rare or rare.
Okay.
I'm a man of the world. I know how you're supposed to order. Tuna.
Listen, I don't. I just get it rare because I figure it's closer to sushi.
I'm getting a little freaked out with this Jaws music too. Like,
Well, the problem is now, I don't know, is this the break music or is this just our Shark Talk music? Okay, see? Knocking
Gotcha.
2 birds with 1 stone. All right. 609-403-0973, the text board. Charlie Manuel is your new hitting coach.